So in this module on playing to win, one of my favorites we're going to talk about right now is called pre-qualification. And this is calling and pre-qualifying. Typically making a phone call is going to be the most efficient way to do it, and finding out if this is ultimately the best use of your time. And we do this by asking questions and digging really deep on motivation. And I'll tell you, this is like an art. I remember the first time I did this, man, I was nervous, and I thought, man, if the guy says no, I'm going to lose my appointment. And then I realized that, hey, why do I even want to go on an appointment if it's not the right appointment? Does that make sense? So that's why I call it playing to win, because playing not to lose is the other side of that, meaning, well, I'll go and hope everything pans out, and it's like, you're working with this buyer that is never going to actually pull the trigger, but you just keep meeting with them because you've already invested so much time. So that's what I encourage you to get away from, because ultimately we never get that time back. So this is about playing to win. So pre-qualifying, again, is asking the right questions, digging deep on motivation, making sure that you're able to help this potential prospect or client, and that it's a win-win. I know we've talked about that in a few different modules. The other part of that is, sometimes if you find out the person isn't a great fit, then you can also refer them out, especially if you're in the real estate industry, because real estate is such a big source of referral. It's a great referral business. So let's say you're meeting with someone and you just find out, this person maybe we just don't click. We're not the greatest fit, either behaviorally or maybe just not on the same page with them or something. Or it could be maybe out of your coverage area, right? It could be that simple. Then refer it out to somebody else. So that's a great opportunity where you can still earn a referral fee, but you're not going to end up spending time with the wrong person. Does that make sense? Again, playing to win. And then the last point I want to talk about is standards with price point. So, for me, it's all about the highest and best use of my time. So don't get me wrong, my goal is to help as many families as I can, and help as many people as I can, and help as many salespeople as I can in my speaking and coaching business. But I also have to pay attention to, is this the best and highest use of my time? Because I know what my time's worth. Does that make sense? So, if you're selling a product and you want to focus on maybe the higher end of that product, at least in my opinion. So if I'm going to sell houses, I'd rather sell an $800,000 house than sell a $200,000 house. Does that make sense? So my goal would be to, if it's a great fit behaviorally and it's a win-win, then yeah, I'm going to go into business. But if it's not, and it's at a lower price point, I'm definitely going to refer it out to somebody else. So for me, that was one of the biggest shifts, my friends, in my business, was moving from a market where we did a lot of business to moving into a new market, which had about a 20% higher price point. We didn't have as much business. So the good thing was we were able to stay in that market for a while and ultimately make the transition. But for us, it was really about playing to win, not taking, the lower end listings, not working with sellers that weren't motivated, because there's nothing like, getting out there, giving a ton of energy and effort to someone, and then ultimately nothing comes out of it. It can be very discouraging, and it can also affect your confidence. And this is all about, when I said in the beginning, creating confidence and effectiveness so that we can ultimately close more sales. So the one thing I would tell you is really focus on start playing to win.